FIFA took your money. And here is the strange part. It does not matter if you never bought a ticket. It does not matter if you have never watched a single game of soccer in your life. This organization still found a quiet little path straight into your wallet. And today, I am going to walk you down that path, dollar by dollar. And then I am going to tell you about the morning the police walked into a 5-star hotel and started arresting the men who ran world football. Because yes, that part is real, and we are getting to it. But first, one tiny bit of housekeeping. I just said soccer, for the Americans in the room. From here on, I am calling it football, because that is what the other 7 billion people on the planet call it. And honestly, because FIFA would like a word with me if I did not. Deal? Good. Because here is the thing nobody says out loud. FIFA is legally a non-profit, a charity-style association registered in Switzerland, right there next to the watchmakers and the private banks. And this cuddly little non-profit collected more than $7.5 billion in the 4 years leading up to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. $7.5 billion. That was a record. And the next one is going to make it look adorable. Now hold on to one word, because this single word is the whole magic trick. Non-profit does not mean no profit. It means the money has to be spent on football. That is the entire loophole. Keep that word in your pocket. We are coming back to it, and it is going to explain where a small mountain of your cash quietly goes to take a nap. So let us follow your money in. Picture FIFA as a machine with 4 taps, and every single one of them is plumbed straight back to you. Tap 1 is the giant. Television. Broadcasters all over the world paid FIFA around $3.5 billion just for permission to put the World Cup on your screen. And where do broadcasters find $3.5 billion lying around? They find it in you. Your streaming subscription, your cable bill, the commercials you pretend you are not watching at halftime. You are the well they draw from. Tap 2 is sponsorship. The big brands, the ones already sitting in your fridge and parked in your driveway, paid well over $1 billion just to stand next to that trophy and look important. And no, they do not pay that out of love for the game. They fold it quietly into the price of the soda, the phone, the car. You cover that bill at the checkout, months before a single ball is kicked. Tap 3 is tickets and hospitality. At Qatar 2022, fans bought more than 3 million tickets, which handed FIFA close to $700 million. Real seats, real people, very real money. Tap 4 is licensing, and this is the one where it gets personal. So let me actually show you your own money leaving the building. Take that sticker album your kid emotionally blackmails you into completing. The 2022 World Cup album had 670 stickers. Buying packet after packet to fill it could run you well over $1,000, which is a wild amount of money to spend, only to end up with 400 duplicates of a backup goalkeeper you have never heard of. And Panini, the company selling those stickers, pays FIFA for the license. Then there is the video game. For years, the company that made the official football game paid FIFA around $150 million a year just for permission to print those 4 letters, FIFA, on the box. Then FIFA asked them to pay double. The game company said no thanks, walked out, and renamed the entire franchise. $150 million a year for the name alone. So add up the 4 taps: television, sponsorship, tickets, and licensing. And one uncomfortable little truth drips out of the machine. You are not watching the World Cup. You are funding it. And quick one before we keep going, because I am actually curious. Tell me in the comments, honestly, did you know FIFA was a non-profit before you clicked this video? Just type yes or no. And while you are down there, tap subscribe, because following your money into the biggest organizations on Earth is the only trick I do around here. Now, remember, tap 1 and tap 2. Television rights and marketing rights. Hold that thought, because this is the part I promised you. In May of 2015, inside a 5-star hotel in Zurich, plainclothes police walked in and started arresting senior football officials one by one. Some of them were reportedly led out with hotel bedsheets, held up to hide their faces. This was the United States Department of Justice, and the charges were racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering. Their words, not mine. And what were these officials accused of selling? The exact thing we just talked about: television and marketing rights. Prosecutors said sports marketing companies had been paying bribes and kickbacks to get their hands on those rights for a quarter of a century. By the time the dust settled, more than 50 people and companies had been charged. 27 of them pleaded guilty, and a couple were convicted and sent to prison. Now, here is the twist that makes the whole thing stranger. When American prosecutors handed back the recovered money, they did not treat FIFA as the villain. They treated FIFA as the victim and awarded it and 2 partner bodies up to $201 million in compensation. Read that back slowly. The organization sitting at the center of one of the biggest corruption cases in the history of sport was, legally, the one that got paid. So freeze with me for a second, because now the real question has teeth. A non-profit pulls in billions. Some of the men who ran it went to prison, and the organization itself walked away with a 9-figure check, which drags us right back to that word I told you to keep in your pocket. If FIFA is not allowed to keep all of this as profit, then where exactly does the money actually go? This is the part almost nobody sticks around for. It is also the best part. The most visible slice goes straight back onto the pitch as prize money. At Qatar 2022, FIFA paid out $440 million to the teams, and the winners, Argentina, took home $42 million of it. For the 2026 tournament, that pool has jumped again to a record, with roughly $50 million waiting for whoever lifts the trophy. The second slice is development. FIFA ships money out to its 211 member associations through a program it calls Forward. This cycle, that is about $2.25 billion, landing at somewhere around $8 million for each national federation. And notice something. This is the slice FIFA puts on every poster, because this is the part that looks exactly like what a charity is supposed to do: growing the game, helping the little guys. Beautiful. Then there is the quiet slice, the simple cost of being FIFA: staff, offices, operations, a very healthy legal department, and salaries. Here is just one number to sit with. FIFA's president was paid around $6 million in a single year. $6 million. That is a whole lot of dough for the boss of something with the words non and profit sitting right there in the name. But here comes the reveal. The thing that little word has been hiding the entire time. After the prize money, after the development grants, after the salaries and the lawyers, FIFA still does not run out. Not even close. It sits on a reserve, a rainy day fund. And by the end of 2022, that rainy day fund had swollen to nearly $4 billion. $4 billion, sitting with an organization that pays no dividends to any owner, because officially it does not have one, and that gets taxed like a charity in Switzerland. And every single dollar of that pile started exactly where we began this video. In your pocket. So let us bolt the whole machine back together and just look at it. Every 4 years, for about 1 month, the entire planet loses its mind over a football tournament. And in that 1 month, your subscription, the markup hidden inside your sponsor's products, your ticket, your kid's sticker album, all of it floods into a non-profit that turns the flood into billions, pays out just enough to look generous, quietly tops up a war chest worth billions more, and then goes dark for 4 years. And then every last one of us does the whole thing all over again, cheering the entire time. That is not a bug. That is the blueprint. And the reason the blueprint works is almost embarrassingly human. Once every 4 years, we get to belong to something enormous. We get to scream at a screen next to millions of strangers who feel exactly what we feel. And in that moment, not one of us stops to read the receipt. FIFA is not hoping you forget to look. FIFA is banking on it. Literally. So the next time somebody tells you the World Cup is just a game, you can tell them precisely where the money goes, who once tried to steal it, and who is quietly sitting on the rest. If this changed the way you see the tournament, subscribe, because next time I am following your money into a company you probably paid this week without even noticing. I will see you inside it.